It's a dim and stormy night out in the center of the sea. The kind of night where indeed the angle are likely stowing away. A little angling vessel is getting hurled around like an elastic duck. In a washing machine, the fellow on board. Totally misplaced. No outline, no GPS, fair great old-fashioned perplexity. At that point, out of no place, bam, he spots the shining lights cutting through the mist. He considers it's a beacon. Fortunate break, right? Yeah, not so much. Those lights? Unquestionably not a beacon. They're eyes, gleaming eyes. On a monster robot, a mammoth robot. This enormous metal creature rises out of the sea like it fair hit nap on an outsider caution clock. It towers over the pontoon, totally noiseless, totally alarming, and not at all portion of the tour. The watercraft vanishes, the storm seethes on, and fair like that, something exceptionally huge has arrived on soil. Back on dry land, we meet our main character, Hogarth. He's a smart, curious kid with a big heart and an even bigger habit of bringing home the weirdest animals. He can find today's surprise guest, a squirrel in a box, on his bike. Because why not? He races into the diner where his mom works, totally pumped to convince her to let him keep this fluffy little chaos machine. But Mom's already 2 steps ahead. She knows Hogarth's pets usually end with broken lamps, chewed wires, or a raccoon in a bathtub. So, naturally, she's not buying it. But Hogarth's got persistence levels over 9,000. He keeps begging and pleading until finally, Mom gives in and agrees to just look at the squirrel. And that's when everything falls apart. The squirrel pulls a jailbreak and vanishes into the diner. Panic mode activated. Meanwhile, at one of the tables, there's a chill-looking guy with a soul patch and art school energy. That's Dean. He's just trying to enjoy his coffee and not get dragged into any chaos. Tough luck. Next to him, a group of local guys are chatting about some weird object one of them saw, possibly a UFO, or maybe just a really confused weather balloon. Dean casually mentions he believes in that kind of stuff. Everyone laughs. Dean shrugs like, whatever, man. But just when he thought this meal couldn't get more awkward, surprise! The squirrel launches its second attack, straight into Dean's pants. Hogarth spots it and begs Dean not to move. One sudden motion and that squirrel could go full acrobat. And if the diner turns into a zoo, Mom's dream of no more pets becomes reality. Dean tries to stay cool. But have you ever tried to act normal with a squirrel doing parkour in your pants? Yeah, not easy. He finally jumps up, and the squirrel blasts out of his pants like a firm missile, knocking over tables, flying past ketchup bottles, and turning the diner into a furry battlefield. Plates crash, people scream, and just like that, Hogarth's chance at squirrel adoption officially over. One night, Hogarth's mom has to work late, so she calls home to leave him the ultimate dinner menu: cold chicken and carrots. Yum! If you're a rabbit, but Hogarth, he's got other plans. His dinner of choice: canned spray cheese and sugary snacks, a true champion's meal. Before hanging up, Mom gives the usual instructions: go to bed early, no late night snacks, and absolutely no scary movies. So, naturally, Hogarth does the exact opposite. He sets up in front of the TV, munching away, glued to a spooky sci-fi flick about alien invaders. And just when the movie hits its peak drama, static, the massive footprints, big ones. Like, this isn't a squirrel big. Naturally, Hogarth does what every horror movie says you shouldn't. He follows them into the dark woods, alone, at night. Because curiosity is stronger than common sense. The footprints lead him all the way to an electrical power station. There, under the bars of the towers, he sees it for the first time, a giant metal creature, happily munching on metal like it's a 5-star buffet. Pipes, delicious. Girders, tasty. And then, whoops, he bites into a live power unit. Not so tasty. These sparks fly. The giant starts glitching like a busted vending machine. Hogarth panics and bolts, but something pulls him back. He stops, takes a breath, and turns around. Instead of running away, he runs toward the danger, climbs into the control booth, and flips the main power switch. The giant powers down. The chaos stops. And for the first time, the towering machine looks directly at Hogarth. No words, no sound, just the quiet stare of a confused robot. And a brave kid who just saved his shiny metal butt. And in that moment, something clicks, not just wires, but a connection. The giant realizes this tiny human just helped him. And Hogarth, he just made the most unexpected friend in the universe. Back at home, things take a turn. Hogarth's mom walks in, expecting to find her son in bed, snoozing away. But the room's empty. No Hogarth, no note, not even a crumb trail. Just a made bed and a missing child. Mom goes into full mom panic mode. She checks every room, calls his name, even peeks under the table, like he might have turned into a loaf of bread. Nothing. So, without wasting a second, she grabs the car keys and zooms off into the night to find him. Meanwhile, deep in the woods, Hogarth has just pulled off a heroic power switch save. But heroism fades fast when the giant power's back on, slowly lifts his massive head, and opens his glowing eyes. That's when Hogarth remembers, oh yeah, this thing is huge. So he does what any normal kid would do after meeting a 50-foot metal alien. He runs like crazy. Just as he bursts out of the woods, headlights hit him. But it's not the army or aliens. It's Mom. She slams the brakes, jumps out of the car, and hugs him like she hasn't seen him in 10 years. She's relieved, mad, grateful, and confused. All at the same time, classic mom mode. Hogarth, out of breath and buzzing with excitement, tries to explain everything. Giant robot, woods, power station, alien friend. And, of course, Mom's like, sure, buddy. Because nothing says believable bedtime story like a metal monster with a snack addiction. So she loads him in the car and drives. Him home, no more squirrel talk, no more robot talk, just a tired mom and a very wired kid. The next day, back at the diner, Dean's still recovering from the great squirrel incident of the night before. He tries to explain how a squirrel somehow ended up doing gymnastics inside his pants. Hogarth's mom, being polite, listens, but deep down, she's wondering how she ended up living in the strangest town in Maine. She tells Dean that Hogarth's always had a wild imagination and a habit of trying to adopt anything with fur, fins, or wires. She says it's because he's lonely. He doesn't have many friends. So he tries to make new ones any way he can. Dean nods, quietly impressed. He doesn't laugh. He just says he's a good kid. Just then, an old man bursts into the diner like he just discovered buried treasure. He calls Dean outside, says there's something he has to see. Outside, the man points to his car. Or, what's left of it, a huge chunk is missing. The metal is crunched, twisted, and, wait for it, it looks like something took a bite out of it. The man says he sold the That's not from a raccoon. One thing's for sure, there's something big. Squirrel this time. After the chaotic midnight snack session at the power station, Billy decides to step in. Enter Kent Mansley, agent of the unexplained job. Investigate weird stuff, take notes, act serious, and ruin everyone's day. Kent shows up at the power station the next morning in a fancy suit and a whole lot of attitude. He meets the foreman, Marv Loach, who looks like he's seen some things. Marv tells him the truth. Something big caused the damage, something enormous. It didn't just knock things over, it bit the tower. As in, chomped on it like it was. A candy bar. Kent, of course, doesn't believe in giant beasts or tower-biting monsters. He's from the government, logic only, please. But just as he's rolling his eyes, someone finds a clue. A toy gun lying in the rubble. Not just any toy. This one has a name written right on it. Hogarth Hughes. Oh! Now Kent's interest is officially piqued. A damaged power station, a missing chunk of metal, and a kid's toy left behind in the wreckage. Smells like a conspiracy, or, at least, a suspicious kid with a BB gun. After wrapping up his super serious investigation, Kent heads back to his car, only to find that it's, well, not looking great. The front is gone. Not like stolen gone, more like bitten. It looks like something took a giant robotic nibble out of it. The engine's gone, the hood's mangled. Basically, his car is now a leftover snack. Panicking, Kent runs to grab Marv to show him the damage. But when they come back, the car is completely gone. Vanished, no sign of it, and just as Kent tries to figure out whether he's losing his mind or his job, a massive metal hand silently creeps back into the woods, carrying the rest of the car like a midnight doggy bag. That's when Kent realizes something huge is out there, something that eats metal, and now he's officially very interested. The next day, Hogarth heads back into the woods with a chunk of metal in his hand and a camera around his neck. And if you've been following the story, you already know what this means. He's officially trying to make friends with a 50-foot robot. His plan, simple. Bait the giant with some fresh, crunchy steel, like it's a snack from the vending machine of doom, and hide behind a log to snap a pic. When he shows up, instant robot friendship plan, right? After a few minutes of nothing but wind and tree rustling, it works. The giant appears, stomping through the woods like a skyscraper on legs. Hogarth sees him and instantly panics. So much for staying calm. He sprints off and immediately faceplants into a tree. Nosebleed, camera drop, dignity gone. But then something weird happens. The giant doesn't attack, doesn't chase, he just leans in, curious, friendly, like a huge, confused metal puppy. And that's how it starts. A strange but beautiful friendship between a hyper 9-year-old and a metal mountain who doesn't say much, yet Hogarth starts teaching him words, showing him how to speak, how to understand, and somehow this giant machine starts to get it. They say it, they learn, they bond. But before long, it's dinner time. If he doesn't get home soon, his mom's gonna launch a full military search. So he tells the giant to stay put and heads home. Except the giant has zero chill and zero boundaries. He decides, you know what, I'm Kex. And because his stomach is basically a scrapyard blender, he sees the railway line and thinks, yum, He jumps down on the track like it's spaghetti. Hogarth freaks out and tells him, "Dude, nitrogen monoxide. That's for trains, not snacks." The giant quickly tries to put the track back in place. But, you A-Joe, it's too late. A train comes flying down the tracks at full speed and, boom, smashes into the giant, launching him off the rails and sending his massive body flying through the forest. In a pile of arms, legs, and random screws, Hogarth rushes over, horrified. His new friend, his giant metal buddy, just got shattered like a dropped Lego set. But then, something incredible happens. One by one, the pieces start moving. A hand walks. A foot scoots. The screws roll back. It's like watching a robot version of Humpty Dumpty pull himself together. The giant rebuilds himself piece by piece. And Hogarth, absolutely amazed, realizes one thing. This robot is not just cool, he's coming home. So Hogarth makes a decision. He's not leaving his new best friend behind. It's time to bring the Iron Giant home. Over at the mayor's office, Agent Kent Mansley is back in business, sleeves rolled up. Conspiracy brain activated. He and his team are putting together the pieces of a very strange puzzle. And now there's a fresh report on the desk. A train accident caused by something giant. The official report says it looked like the train hit a creature, not a car. Not a cow, a creature, something enormous. And that's all Mansley needs to hear. He grabs the nearest car, which, by the way, isn't even his, because his own ride got munched like a cookie and speeds off to the crash site. There, he meets the train conductor who looks like he's still recovering from emotional damage. The guy says it felt like the train hit a wall with eyes. Whatever it was big. And it wasn't from around here. Kent, now more paranoid than ever, asks to use a phone to report this to his higher-ups. The conductor casually points to a house nearby. They've got a phone. He says, "That house? Oh, just Hogarth Hughes' house." Yep, of all the houses in all of Maine, he walks into that one. Meanwhile, Hogarth is doing what any kid with a 50-foot robot in his backyard would do, trying to keep things chill. He's got the Iron Giant hiding in the storage shed, quietly self-repairing like it's robot spa day. Inside the house, Hogarth sits down for dinner with his mom like everything's totally normal. You know, just another evening. No monsters. No aliens, just meatloaf. Then the doorbell rings, and there he is, Kent Mansley. Standing on the porch with the world's most suspicious smile, he politely asks to use the phone. Hogarth's mom, being her usual friendly self, lets him in, while Kent calls his government pals to report possible contact with an enormous unidentified eating machine. Hogarth sits at the table sweating bullets and chewing way too fast. Just as Kent finishes his call and is about to leave, he turns to thank Hogarth's mom. And that's when it happens. She introduces herself, Annie Hughes. And then she says it. "This is my son, Hogarth." Kent's brain short circuits. That name, Hogarth Hughes, that's the exact name. Written on the toy gun he found at the power station. The pieces click instantly. He doesn't even say goodbye. He just bolts to his car, grabs the toy gun from the back seat, and storms back to confront the kid. But Hogarth, emergency bathroom. Escape! Sorry, can't talk. Gotta go. Urgent. Kent stands there, not buying it for a second. He knows Hogarth is hiding something. He just doesn't know what yet. So Kent plays it cool, pretends to leave. But, in reality, he's about to go for Mansley's questions like a pro. Hogarth sneaks back out to visit his new friend, the Iron Giant. He brings along a few books. like he's about to read the robot a bedtime story. And, honestly, that's kind of exactly what happens, sitting on the giant's hand. Hogarth shows him one of his favorite comics, Superman, the legendary hero who always does the right thing and saves the world from the bad guys. The Iron Giant listens closely, eyes glowing with curiosity. But then he picks up another book, Adamo, a story about a scary metal villain who destroys cities. A robot that looks suspiciously like him. For a moment, the giant looks confused, maybe even a little sad. But Hogarth quickly clears it up. That's not who he is. He's not a villain. He's not a monster. He's hungry again. Unfortunately, there's nothing tasty or metallic in the shed. But Hogarth's got an idea. He hops into the giant's hand and they head off into the night to find some robot-approved snacks. On the way, they spot headlights. A car is coming. Hogarth panics and tells the giant to freeze. Stay completely still like a statue. The giant does exactly that, holding perfectly still by the... He's just there to tow a busted-up car. As soon as Hogarth sees him, a brilliant idea pops into his head. Dean's junkyard is full of metal. And what does a giant robot love more than bedtime stories? Scrap, metal, snacks. So, without wasting a second, Hogarth leads the Iron Giant straight to the junkyard. The night is still young, and the buffet of bolts awaits. Asterisk, asterisk over at Dean's junkyard. The Iron Giant is living his best life, surrounded by rusty cars and piles of old appliances. He's having the ultimate all-you-can-eat buffet. Scrap metal has never looked so delicious. While the giant munches away like a steel dinosaur, Hogarth shows up at Dean's trailer to say hi. Just a friendly chicken, nothing suspicious, right? That is, until Dean hears something. A heavy metallic thud-thud-thud coming from outside. He rushes out to investigate, and what does he find? A walking skyscraper made of bolts and attitude. Dean takes one look and does exactly what any sane person would do. He screams, grabs Hogarth, and runs for his life like he's being chased by a vending machine on steroids. But the giant sees this and totally misreads the situation. He thinks Dean is attacking his tiny human friend. So, what does he do? He grabs Dean, gently but firmly, like a robot bouncer breaking up a fight. Hogarth immediately tells the giant to stop. Dean's not the bad guy. He's just freaked out, which is fair, considering a giant hand just interrupted his late-night coffee. Hogarth explains that Dean is their friend. He's one of the good guys. And most importantly, we like Dean. Hearing that, the giant lets go. No harm, no squish. Just a very shaken Dean who calmly walks back into his trailer, like he didn't just have a near-death experience. But Hogarth's not done yet. He begs Dean to let the giant stay here, just for the night. It's the perfect place, hidden, full of shelter, and, well, basically a robot snack bar. Dean, understandably, says no at first. Then no again. Then no. But Hogarth keeps asking. And asking. And maybe even puppy eye staring. Finally, Dean gives in. He sighs, rubs his face, and agrees. One night. That's it. Just one giant robot sleepover in the junkyard. And just like that, the giant officially has a home, for now. The next morning, Hogarth sneaks back into his house through the window like a ninja who stayed out way too late. But just as he lands, his mom calls from downstairs. She has a surprise for him. And oh boy, Is it a surprise? Sitting in the living room with the world's smuggest grin is none other than Kent Mansley. Yep, the guy who thinks aliens are real, squirrels are spies, and Hogarth knows something, turns out. He's now renting a room in their house, a government agent. Living down the hall, Hogarth is horrified. Kent, on the other hand, is thrilled. Because now, he can officially spy on the Kid 24/7s. Meanwhile, back at Dean's junkyard, Dean wakes up, opens his trailer door, and B.A.M. a massive metal face is staring at him. And not from across the yard. We're talking inches away. Dean nearly has a heart attack, grabs the phone, and calls Hogarth. He reminds him, very loudly, that the giant was only supposed to stay one night. But Hogarth can't talk, not because he's busy, but because Kent Mansley is right there. Watching his every move like a hawk in a suit, Kent tries everything to get Hogarth to spill the truth. Sneaky questions, fake kindness, guilt trips, you name it. But Hogarth stays strong. Not a single word about the giant. Later, they go to the diner for a little bonding time. Just a boy, a cone of ice, cream, and a nosy government agent. But suddenly, Kent gets hit with a different kind of emergency. An ice cream-related emergency. Let's just say he rushes to the inn. It's a peaceful, goofy, perfect day. But back in town, Kent's not giving up. With detective mode fully activated, he searches for clues. And after poking around long enough, he hits the jackpot. Hogarth's camera, inside, photos, real proof, a smiling Hogarth standing next to the Iron Giant. And just like that, Kent doesn't need questions anymore. He's got answers and a very big target. After a full day of fun, flying cars, and cannonballs in the lake, the sun begins to set. And it's the perfect golden hour moment. Hogarth sits peacefully on the giant's shoulder as they walk through the forest, surrounded by glowing light and gentle wind. It's one of those everything is perfect moments. That's when they see it, a deer. Calm, quiet, and curious. It slowly approaches them, totally unfazed by the fact that one of them is, a giant robot. The giant gently reaches out a finger and touches the deer. It's soft, peaceful, no lasers, no danger, just calm. But then, a sudden gunshot. The deer bolts, too late. Two hunters step out from the trees, rifles in hand. The deer is gone. And not just hiding, it's not moving. Hogarth and the giant rush over. The deer is lying there. Still, the giant reaches out, touches it again, confused. It doesn't wake up, it doesn't move. And Hogarth tells him it's dead. The hunters catch sight of the metal mountain in the trees and, well, they run for their lives. Can't really blame them. But the giant just stares at the deer. Quiet, sad. And for the first time, he understands what it means to lose something. That night, Hogarth heads home. And the giant returns to sleep at Dean's junkyard. The fun and games are over. And things are about to take a serious turn. Hogarth walks through the door. And Kent Mansley is waiting for him like a villain in a sitcom. This time, he's got proof. The camera, the pictures, the truth. He holds up the photo. Hogarth standing beside the Iron Giant. No more pretending. No more I didn't see anything. Hogarth finally tells him the giant is real. And he's hiding at Dean's junkyard. Mansley doesn't even wait to finish his coffee. He grabs the phone and calls in the military, full invasion mode. Troops, tanks, all of it. Hogarth overhears the plan and tries to sneak out of the house to warn the giant. But he's trapped. The windows are locked. Kent's watching him, like a hawk with an espresso addiction. That night, Hogarth pretends to go to bed. Kent pretends he's going to stay awake all night. But guess what? Kent lasts about 3 minutes before passing out. In a chair. Government agent? More like government. Napper! The next morning, Kent wakes up with a neck cramp and a problem. Hogarth's bed is empty. He's gone. And right outside, the military has arrived. Tanks, soldiers, the whole show. Kent throws on his jacket and races to the junkyard to claim his prize. He's got the troops. He's got the plan. He's got the villain's speech queued up. But when they get there, it's just junk, piles of scrap, random car parts, some old washing machines, and then a piece of a giant robot, broken and twisted. But Dean steps up calmly and says, "Oh, that's art." The soldiers stare. Kent stares. The giant, nowhere in sight. Boom! They've been played. And once again, Hogarth and Dean are one step ahead, finding nothing but piles of metal junk at Dean's yard. The military isn't happy, not even a little bit. The captain turns to Kent Mansley, boiling with rage. He basically called in an army to look at modern art. Kent gets chewed out hard. The captain tells him to pack it up. They're done wasting time. Just scrap metal. No robot. No threat. Just a big, expensive field trip as the army rolls out. Hogarth watches with a huge smile. He did it. They tricked them. Mission complete. As soon as the coast is clear, he sprints to the back of the junkyard, where the giant has been playing the best disguise game ever, lying in a pile of parts, pretending to be a broken sculpture. Hogarth gives Dean a big thanks for the genius plan, and then it's back to fun time. He grabs a toy ray gun and starts playing around with the giant, just like always, but this time, something's different. When Hogarth points the toy gun at the giant, it triggers something deep in the giant's system, some kind of defense mode. His eyes glow red, his face changes. Suddenly, he's no longer calm, no longer curious. He sees a threat. Before anyone can react, a laser beam shoots straight from the giant's eyes, aimed right at Hogarth. Luckily, Dean sees it just in time. He tackles Hogarth out of the way, saving him by inches. The beam misses, but the moment is terrifying. Dean shouts for the giant to back off. Stay away. The giant stops, stunned. His eyes turn back to normal. He looks confused, scared. He didn't mean to hurt anyone, especially not Hogarth. Dean explains what just happened. That the giant attacked Hogarth, even if it wasn't on purpose. And that's when the realization hits. The giant looks at his hands, at the damage he almost caused. And his heart, or whatever his robot version of one is, sinks. Overwhelmed with sadness and regret, the giant turns and runs. He doesn't say a word. He just runs. He doesn't want to hurt anyone, especially not the one human who believed in him. But Hogarth doesn't let him go. He chases after his friend, calling out through the trees. After running away in sadness, the iron giant stumbles into the heart of the city. That's when he hears it, the sound of two boys screaming for help. They're hanging off the edge of a tall building, and it's a long way down. No time to think. The giant sprints across the people, see the giant not as a threat, but as a friend. Just then, Hogarth and Dean arrive. Hogarth climbs into the giant's hand, and the giant softly says what he now believes. I'm not a gun. It's a beautiful moment. A crowd watches in awe. A robot finds peace. The music swells. It almost feels romantic. And then Kent. Mansley ruins it. He sees the giant in the city and immediately loses his mind. He calls the military, and within minutes, chaos returns. Tanks rolling, planes circle overhead. The army begins its attack, and the giant, now holding Hogarth, has no choice. Eventually, they hit him. An airstrike takes him down. He crashes into the ground like a falling satellite. Boom! The military surrounds the crash site. They think it's over. But then, the giant's eyes flicker. He wakes up, and when he looks down, Hogarth, the boy who believed in him, is lying on the ground, still, silent. Just like the deer, the giant's heart breaks. His eyes glow red, and the peaceful protector becomes the weapon he tried so hard not to be. He rises up, angry, glowing, and full of firepower. Lasers shoot out. Tanks get dust. The army has no chance. They realize they can't stop him. So, the captain makes the call, launch the missile. A warship prepares to fire a nuclear strike. One strong enough to wipe out the giant and maybe everything around him. But just in time. Hogarth stirs. He's alive. He runs toward the giant, calling out to him. And the giant hears it. He sees Hogarth, not dead, not gone. He's okay. And just like that, the red fades from his eyes. The rage disappears. The weapon powers down. Dean realizes something. The giant only attacks when he's scared. When he sees a threat, it's not who he is. It's a reflex, a defense. Dean rushes to the captain and tells him to stop the missile. The giant isn't trying to destroy. He's trying to survive. The captain sees the truth. He watches as the giant gently sets Hogarth down. Calm and quiet once again, he cancels the missile strike. Disaster is avoided, for now, just when it seemed like things were finally under control. Surprise. Kent Mansley ruins everything again. Not happy with the army canceling the missile, he panics. Grabs the radio out of the general's hands and yells, "Launch the missile." Now, and yeah, they launch it. Big mistake. What Kent apparently forgot is that the missile is locked onto the Iron Giant's location. And the Giant's location is right in the middle of the town. The general turns to him with the face of pure rage because Kent just ordered a missile strike on everyone, including himself. Kent, realizing this isn't one of his best moments, immediately tries to flee the scene like a cartoon villain. He jumps in a jeep, ready to ditch the town, but the soldiers catch him before he can, drive off and stop him cold. Now, the missile is in the sky. Time is ticking. Everyone is frozen. No one knows what to do. But the Iron Giant, he knows. He looks down at Hogarth, then up at the missile. He remembers the story. Superman, the hero, the one who saves the day. And in that moment, he decides who he wants to be. He gently tells Hogarth goodbye without saying a word, lifts off like a rocket, and soars straight into the sky, heading right for the missile. The world watches as the giant climbs higher and higher, above the clouds, into space. One last time, he closes his eyes and whispers to himself, "Superman!" The missile hits. There's a massive explosion in the sky, a brilliant flash, and then silence. The town is saved. But the giant is gone. Hogarth stares at the sky, heartbroken, his best friend. The one who wasn't supposed to be a weapon. Gave everything to protect the people who once feared him. Dazed, is he really gone? Well, remember, this giant is very good at putting himself back together. Somewhere far away, in a quiet field under the stars, a single bolt starts to move. Then a plate. Then a screw. Piece by